we done?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm fucking dead. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the OUTPOST Midnight Podcast. I'm Ghvstfreak, and I'm joined here today by PlasmaNomad and Malidous, two very close friends of mine. Do you guys want to go ahead and do a quick introduction?
Yep, I go by PlasmaNomad on various channels online. My favorite game that I've played recently, if we're doing an icebreaker school style thing, I really love Fall Guys. I think it's super fun and chaotic and interesting. So I've been playing a lot of that.
My name's Malidous. Okay. So, my name's Malidous, and the last game I've played is actually a series of games. I'm playing through the Yakuza series right now.
Nice.
Because the new Yakuza 7's coming out soon, so I'm trying to catch up. I'm on the third game right now.
Sick.
Nice. My name is Ghvstfreak, and wow. Okay, I guess we're just gonna skip.
Go ahead. I was gonna intro myself again.
So Ghvstfreak, and the last game I enjoyed was Elder Scrolls Online. I no-life that game for like 2 months, 350 hours.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
We can talk more about like why we enjoy the games we chose. I guess more in depth later, but yeah, I think that's good.
I think one thing that'd be interesting to talk about starting out is our thoughts so far on like starting a YouTube channel and making videos and writing for videos and all that. So far, I think it's been pretty fun. It turned out to be a lot more work than I thought. We haven't done much yet, of course, but it's pretty fun. I think it's a fun like side project thing. There's a lot of different aspects that go into making videos interesting and fun to watch. And I think I don't know if you two have any like favorite YouTube channels, but you can tell they put a lot of work into the content, or they have a personality that people like to watch. And I think that's really cool. And to try and do that is also a fun endeavor.
Yeah, for sure. But for me personally, it's like a new thing because I guess before this, I would always keep myself and not really put myself out there. So to actively try to gather some sort of following or some sort of audience is kind of new. It's interesting.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm generally pretty anti social media for the most part. Like I don't use Instagram very actively or Facebook, and it's a different muscle to try and like forcefully use it for a purpose like gaining an audience. And it's just been fun so far. So wait, about this podcast though, like what do you guys see as what is the purpose of this podcast to you guys? Like we haven't really figured it out yet, so it's all up in the air and open.
Well, I think most of us are pretty much gamers here, mostly.
Sorry. Yeah.
So we pretty much follow any sort of gaming news that comes in, and if it's intriguing or any type of game reveals, since we pretty much have been gaming since we were kids and like grew up gaming and currently still. So like any type of gaming news we could talk about. There's always like some sort of interesting to talk about with gaming, whether it be something that's really exciting or like a controversy or something like that. And aside from gaming, all of us are pretty much we watch a lot of anime. So there's always anime ongoing in the season, or some of our favorite animes that we could talk about, or any future animes that we want to expect and see. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely this podcast. I think I don't know. I always think we have interesting conversations about things, and I feel like it's just talking about the things that we enjoy. I think people find that interesting. So yeah.
Like, I feel like we talk about a lot of this stuff anyways. We might as well share it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people. I mean, we all know a lot of people that are into the same things as well. So it just seemed like a natural step to take and thing to do.
I guess if anything, we can just say that we're trying to offer a different perspective.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think live streaming too is interesting. So like if there's anyone watching this later, definitely for me, I'm open to like interaction during the live stream. Like if anyone has a question or something that we want to discuss or they want to discuss specifically, that would be super cool.
All right. So you guys want to move on to our first topic?
Yeah, let's talk about
for it.
All right. So as some of you might already know, next month, the 17th Call of Duty is coming out, Black Ops Cold War. And this past week,
Black Ops Cold War
the first one. Actually, not untrue. But we had a chance to hop into the beta that this past week to try it out. So what did you guys think about it?
Yeah, I have mixed. It's pretty mixed, but leaning towards it was pretty fun. Like it's just Call of Duty, which we all are familiar with and everyone's familiar with. But the maps were cool. I think it was somewhat fresh enough to keep me interested. Maybe I'm just tired of Modern Warfare and how samey everything feels. But I always preferred Black Ops's aesthetic and like the way they handle the music, the guns. It's a little less realistic, of course, but it makes it more. It just opens it up to more creative things, like the RCXD is a good example, like an RC car with explosives, and things like the areas of the new maps or the settings of the new maps, that stuff too. So overall, I'm interested in it. I'm more interested in zombies than the regular multiplayer right now, but we haven't gotten to try that yet. But yeah, I think it should be fun. I mean, new Call of Duty is always exciting.
Yeah, I think the thing with new Call of Duties is trying to gauge whether it's actually like enough or it has enough new content to separate it from the previous title.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think based on what we tried out, it's pretty fresh, pretty interesting. Yeah. I guess from my perspective, it's because I haven't played like the last two Black Ops games at all. Like, not a lot, maybe just like one or two games here or there. So this would be like totally fresh for me.
I think with Modern Warfare, you could tell that they were trying to call back to the good old times when people were playing Modern Warfare 2. Mm-hmm. And all the subsequent releases after that from Infinity Ward, I feel like it became more disappointing to people in the community. Yeah. And so they finally realized that. And now for Modern Warfare, they brought it back to its roots with, not much, because they introduced like jetpacks and like futuristic like stuff, but bringing it back to like a soft reboot was a good call. And Cold War kind of echoes that by sort of continuing where Black Ops 2 left off into the to like the early 80s like setting. Mm-hmm. So because all the other Black Ops after that, it followed the whole like futuristic style, and a lot of people were turned off. So I'm glad that they're going back to that, and it reflects in the gameplay. Like all the weapons are older, but they still feel fresh and different. And like you said, like the maps, there's a lot of more variety because I feel like with Black Ops, they usually have more creative liberty with their property, so they're able to expand on that with their maps and their zombies mode. So it's fresh. It's a callback to the original Black Ops with the gameplay, but it's still and it feels different from Modern Warfare, definitely.
Dude, I gotta agree. So when they started going to like that new futuristic, the weapons and the jetpacks, dude, I totally got turned off. Yeah. No, like when I thought about Call of Duty, I wanted like that realistic, FPS game type. So when they started doing that, like trying to make it like, I guess, was it Titanfall? I was just like, I'd rather go play Titanfall at that point. So
yeah, I think that happened with Halo too. Like they started adding more. Halo actually copied a little bit of COD 2 when they introduced sprinting, and because that was really popular and what most FPSs were doing at the time. And so similarly to Halo, it just kept getting more and more complex, and then people just wanted the simple gameplay of the earlier CODs. Like COD 4 was COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 were like the right level of complexity to keep it fun, but not be overwhelming and confusing and not feel like COD anymore. So yeah, I think it's cool. I always somehow end up playing the Call of Duty games, even if I'm not really that interested. Like it's just okay,
dude,
you guys are playing it, or like we just end up buying and then.
Edward had me buy Black Ops 3 to play zombies, and I played like one game of zombies, and I never touched the game again. The game was like $40.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much because of the whole futuristic style, and like I said, and I think the zombies was kind of too crazy.
Yeah,
but it seems like if you watch the trailer, it kind of ties back to the older style of zombies. Like,
yeah,
the first zombies was like Call of Duty World at War, right? With like Nazi zombies, and then it expanded on that with Black Ops 1 and 2 and all that.
Yeah. See, even that mode got a little too crazy for me. I really like the World at War zombies where you're just in that little bunker and they're all coming in from different sides, and the only thing you can really do is build up the barriers and then go to the random weapon box. And then it got crazy with like the bus or the train or whatever, and then you're going to like 50 different places activating different things. But yeah, I think I prefer the simpler version, but I'm open to whatever it might be later on.
Dude, the Black Ops version of zombies, like Black Ops 1 version, where it's just like I think you're in a theater, and that was pretty. That was a pretty good one too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It wasn't too complicated, like you said. It's just like you only have a couple things you can do, but it's just about running the right routes and not dying.
What was the? Go ahead, finish.
I'm done.
I remember back then. What was that weapon? That's like the super strong weapon. It's like a red gun, and then it's like the alien pistol or something. I forgot what it's called.
It's called the ray gun.
Yeah, I remember.
It's called the Raycon earbuds.
Raycon. Yeah, I saw. Well, in the trailer, if you watch, it seems that it's back. So that's pretty cool. And like, I remember there was the those sodas that you can drink to add buffs and all that.
Oh
stuff.
Yeah. That stuff was cool. Juggernog. That's what I remember. Yeah, a lot of fun with that. I'm looking forward to it, especially because it's Halloween season and it's getting cozy. I don't know about you, but like when it gets cold outside and it's dark, that's like the best time to just stay inside and play games. Like you want to get immersed in something and play a game or watch a show. Like this is the season for it. So excited.
Dude, every season's like that for me.
Really, just playing games all day,
just playing games all day,
watching shows. Yeah, I feel like I do it too, but it is nice when it's cozy. Like you feel cozy when it's cold outside. You can like wrap up in a blanket or just be warm while everyone else is cold, and then you just you get immersed.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of seasons changing, I guess Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, I stopped celebrating Halloween like a long time ago.
That's next Saturday? Jeez.
Yeah, I thought last month was June. It felt like. But yeah, Halloween, where would you rank that on your favorite holidays? Because for me it's usually pretty low on mine because I stopped. I mean, as a kid, I would go trick-or-treating, but I would always put together my costume last minute. Like I would just be like, okay, what clothes do I have or what do they have left over at Party City? And then
Spirit Halloween and all that.
Spirit Halloween. Yeah. And then, I trick-or-treat because it's free candy, but then after that I don't know, I never really got in the mood much.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, I would always want those cool costumes I kept seeing other kids wear, but then when I asked my mom, like, what am I gonna wear for Halloween? Like, what's my costume gonna be? And she would like make one from scratch. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like this one year, I went as a dove to I guess the Halloween, like the school Halloween costume contest. Yeah, she put me in a white suit and like white gloves, white shoes, and she painted my face she didn't paint my face. She had like a yellow piece of paper that was rolled up like a cone, and she tied that around my nose, and she painted my hair white.
Dude, that also looks sick.
Dude, I won the costume contest.
Nice.
As a dub.
Yeah, like the homemade costumes are the way to go because you make them so elaborate. And the thing that was always cool at my school was the mask that had blood, like you squeeze it.
Oh, you squeeze it, the scream mask,
right? I thought that was the coolest mask ever.
Yeah, I always had I would always see kids with it. I'm like, damn, that shit's like
they pump it and it's like
it's usually really expensive, right? I think that's why my mom didn't let me. I just had the normal scream. It would usually be the scream mask, right? I had the normal one, and it had like a super tiny ass hole to breathe, and so my face would just be sweaty, but I'd be scream, which was cool.
Dude, that reminds me of the time I bought this, I guess, gas mask, and I wasn't sure if it was military surplus or not, but it was it was like made of like rubber or latex, and I had to squeeze my head to get into there, and I'm not sure if it was clean on the inside. I probably shouldn't have worn it, but
yikes.
Yeah. Ooh.
Do you guys have any other memorable Halloween costumes? Because for me, I remember one time I dressed as Spider-Man for elementary school, but somehow my parents like to go a little extra. They actually I got this costume. It was like the webs would be like there was like buff paint on it, or like they would like you could feel the webs stick out, and I remember they would tailor it to my size when I was a kid.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool too. And then like another time, this is like during when Yu-Gi-Oh was popular. I dressed up as Yu-Gi-Oh. And
wait, was that in middle school?
No, this was elementary school still. Like I had the wig hat and like the clothes and everything. And the one thing I really wanted, I think like most boys wanted was the dual disc. The dual disc.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had that too, and then I had my deck inside, and then I just be trick or treating in that thing.
That's so sick.
Wait, did you have the wig though for the Yugi costume?
Yeah, it's like this plastic thing you just put on your head.
Actually, when you're mentioning Spider-Man, what I thought of was like how I always wanted those web shooters. You know, it shoots out like silly string.
I actually had those. Those things make a mess. I think I shot it at like the wall, like the drywall, and it just like stuck. Like you had it wouldn't come off. Like I think my parents had to paint over it.
See, most members. So I have like a couple members. So the one from my childhood that I remember the most, besides the Dove one, was I had a Darth Maul costume.
So was it a mask, or you had to you paint your face, or what?
No, it came with the mask, but I don't think I wore the mask. So I just wore the robes and was carrying on the lightsaber. And then besides that, the last couple of years, like Gene said, I've been making my own costumes. It's been super fun. So I was Marty McFly the year before last year. And then last year I went as Woody. I don't know. Yeah, it's just fun. Like trying to just find stuff in stores, like different pieces of the costume that kind of look like it. So you're trying to match, like put together a puzzle. But at the end of the day, you can say that you made the costume yourself. So
yeah,
that's pretty fun.
There's always that. I don't know. I always ended up buying my costume. Oh, actually, no. So when I was in school, I did I don't know if you guys know the jeans, like denim jeans, Sub-Zero. Do you know what I'm talking about? So
no idea.
You can make a bootleg Sub-Zero costume. You just put jeans, like a pair of jeans.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then you get a belt, and you just go like this, right?
Yeah.
And you can do a T-shirt that you can basically turn a black T-shirt into a ninja mask. So I wore a black shirt, black ninja mask, and then jeans over my shoulders for bootleg Sub-Zero. That was like the last time I dressed up because it was for something for the rowing team. We all dressed up while we did our practice, and so I was running around as a ninja and rowing a boat as Sub-Zero, which was cool.
Wait, so all of you guys were wearing like costumes, like rowing?
Yeah. We were all wearing like short ass shorts basically because we were in boats. So short ass shorts and then costumes. So some people wore straight up masks, which is basically torture, like a latex mask, and then you're breathing heavily in it. And some people had makeup on and stuff. Yeah, that was the last memorable.
Wait, did you say that this was at practice?
Yeah, it was during practice.
And this was and your practices are usually at like 4 a.m, right? 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, they would be. So it was pretty rough, but it was fun to dress up. That was the last time I think I had fun dressing up, and the past many years I just haven't done it because Yeah, I never felt compelled to. Every year I tell myself, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy like a nice Jedi robe and then just buy a nice lightsaber, and that's like a simple, sick costume. But then I never do it. Or I remember during October and I'm like, oh shit, and then everything's gone. But yeah, before that I would be a ninja. Like I think I was a ninja like 3 years in a row because I didn't want to bother my parents to get a costume like as a kid. And then my super most low effort costume was like I just put on the mask basically. Like you see those kids where they just put on the mask and the rest of their clothes are normal and they go around getting free candy. I felt bad afterwards. I was like, oh, I just want free candy. I didn't even want to dress up. I was just like, I just want free candy. And I was one of those kids running around in jeans.
Yeah, I haven't gone trick-or-treating in a year. I think every year I still celebrate Halloween, but only like the costume part of it because in my office, people still dress up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for trick-or-treating, I haven't gone trick-or-treating, I guess, since high school, I think. Like when I discovered it's way easier just buying the candy yourself than going out and getting it.
Yeah. It's part of the fun though. Like you could just buy it, but it's I think we talked about this a bit yesterday. When you have to work for something, it feels a lot better once you get it, even if it's simpler to just buy it.
That's true. But I think a part of it was I also enjoyed just giving out the candy. Like just waiting for people to come. So
yeah. My parents would always buy candy for the kids that would come by, but we lived in a cul-de-sac, so I don't know why, like no one wants to walk the extra like 100 feet to go to a cul-de-sac house
because we
just have a shitload. Yeah, we just have a ton of Kit Kats, and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm just gonna eat all these myself because none of the kids would come by and pick them up. So it's like, all right, more for me, I guess.
I guess the attendance, or not attendance, but the number of people that showed up to my house year after year started like dwindling. Do you guys know how I have the huge hedge? I guess it's a hedge. Hedge fence.
Oh, the gate.
Yeah, the gate.
Yeah.
I think it blocks vision and people are just like scared to walk in because when the car is parked right next to the entrance, it's like super dark. You can't see inside.
Yeah.
So a couple of years I tried just like putting up a sign like stick on the back of the car that says candy inside, but that made it even look more sus. So yeah.
Did you guys put any decorations or anything?
No, so it just looked like a totally regular house with candy inside.
Yeah, decorations, ironically enough, would make it look less scary because then it's like, okay, they're celebrating Halloween. Maybe that's why it looks a little dark and scary. But without it, like those would be the type of houses that I would skip, where it's
like the lights are off.
No lights. The house looks like kind of old. The car's kind of old and dusty. I'm like, okay. No,
I remember like when you're a kid, like the houses that are really excited to go to was the ones that went all out for the decorations.
Yeah.
Like with like put like animatronics or like lights and all that. Like all the kids like gravitated towards that house. And then like when you open it, like if you go to a normal house, like it's just like the parents or like an adult just dressed in normal clothing, just handing out candy. And then but for those houses, even the parents would dress up, like they go all out. And that's what makes it really cool.
That was always exciting. Yeah, I don't know if you both have ever been to one of those houses where they even do like a mini haunted house setup in the garage. I mean, like I went to one where they set up the driveway in the garage. Like they basically built a mini haunted house, and so you'd walk in and there'd be what looks like people standing there, but some of them are real people trying to scare you, and others are just like giant figures and decorations. And then the candy would be all the way at the end, so you have to like get scared before you can even get the candy. And it was usually really good candy too. So
did they have those fog? Like I know like those cool houses have those fogs too.
Yeah, it'd be like the fog, the black light, and like witch laughing noises, the sound effects, like thunder and laughing. Yeah, that stuff is cool. I appreciated it. Speaking of like spooky season, do you all have a scariest movie that you've ever watched? I think did we talk about this yesterday?
We briefly touched on it.
Okay.
And I think I said that growing up I never watched any scary movies or horror films because I was a scaredy cat. But I would always read about them online. Like I would go on Wikipedia. I'm like, yo, this movie looks super scary. I don't want to watch it, but I want to know what happens. So I read about the movie online and I end up getting scared anyways. So
yeah,
I was telling these guys last night that I was reading about Nightmare on Elm Street, and I read about how Freddy Krueger can go into your dreams and kill you in your sleep. And the night I read that, I stayed up till like 4 or 5 a.m. just sitting in the hallway with the lights on, just like trying to stay awake, and I was like passing out.
Yeah, the stories for horror movies are always so interesting because they have to come up with a reason to make something scary happen to the characters or make something scary appear on screen. And we talked about this yesterday, but it's interesting too. The recently it's been the unknown horrors or like what you don't see, or they'll hype it up basically the whole movie where there's something like some sort of threat that's coming for the main characters, and then they might reveal it and they might not. I think that's interesting because the things that you could think of in your head are probably way more scary than what they could actually think of to show like a monster or like a bad person trying to kill the main characters. So I always thought that was interesting, or like it's an interesting trend.
That's like, if you notice, like since the inception of like horror movies, there's always like a monster, right? Like like Frankenstein's monster, and like the Mummy, then eventually became like Freddy Krueger, like Leatherface, and all that. And now, recently, like you said, it's always been like the unknown. Because I think the saying is like the greatest fear of humankind is the fear of the unknown. So they try to like really incorporate that concept.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think part of it too. Yeah, I think part of it too is because like with the like classic monsters, you know what they look like, you know what they are, like all their weaknesses and stuff. With like things that you don't know, you kind of got to fill in the blanks with your own mind. And if you're watching a horror movie, you tend to fill in those blanks with like the worst things like you can think of. So you're actually scaring yourself in those movies most of the time.
Yeah, it's similar to how there are games where there isn't any voice acting for characters, and so when you're playing it, you have the voices in your head of what they're like, and then later on they might get a voice, and then it like doesn't line up or it sounds weird because you have this voice in your head versus the one that they added for the character. Like they did that in Final Fantasy, like some of the unvoiced Final Fantasy characters that show up in Kingdom Hearts suddenly have a voice, and now like it could ruin it if you have already have an idea of what they would sound like.
I feel like it's also true for like books, right? Books and movies.
Yeah.
Wait, so out of the classic horror monsters that have already been made, which one do you guys think is the scariest?
Like aesthetically, or like just by
actually, I guess wait, not even classic. I'm gonna expand it. Like even like monsters like Jason and Freddy Krueger. Like out of all the monsters that it's an actual character that defined. Which one do you guys think is the scariest? Like it doesn't be it could be aesthetics, or it could be the movie itself.
But so I could say I specifically recall when I was a kid, I was looking up on I was trying to look up the difference between Mike Myers, the actor, and Michael Myers, the guy with the knife in the Halloween movies. And I was like, wait, are they this? It's like, did they name it after him, or is it just the same name? And so I looked it up on Wikipedia. So I'm like, all right, this Wikipedia is safe because they wouldn't put a jump scare in Wikipedia, and like jump scares were big back then too. So I was like really cautious. And then I scroll down and I see Michael Myers' like white face mask and his hair, and it scared the shit out of me. And I was like, oh fuck! Like just looking at the picture, it's him like standing over over the stairs. I'm like, oh shit! And then actually just on just off Wikipedia.
Wait, so did you ever find out? So is the Michael Myers horror character, is he wearing like a mask of Michael Myers that's like, are they related at all? Because that's what I assumed.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Ooh, we have a chatter.
Michael Myers is from the Halloween movie, right? Series.
Yeah.
Thank you for the follow. Any questions? We're talking. Hold on, sorry. I'm just addressing a viewer. We're talking about scariest horror monsters right now. I threw in Michael Myers because his mask is like freaky and like super pale. I think that's part of it is visual too, because he shows up like in the dark and it's just his super pale face. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all good. I think mine again. I got to go back to Freddy Krueger. I mean, a guy that can kill you in your sleep, like when you're most defenseless. That's because everyone has to sleep. That's the thing. Everyone has to sleep. So I think that's part of why it's the scariest one for me. You can just be like chilling, taking a nap, and you just die because this guy visited your dream.
Like it's unavoidable.
It's like, unavoidable. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, the creepiest looking one is Leatherface because it's just he just has he has a chainsaw too, and like you could tell like is that like a mask that he made? Is that like someone's face that he ripped off or something? Like it looks really disturbing. So yeah, for me it's Leatherface.
Yeah, I think skin stuff is really gross to me, and his thing is like stitched together skin and like it's all flappy. Oh yeah. I heard for that movie the conditions they filmed it in made it look like, for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the conditions they filmed it in made everything look like really gross and everyone looked really tired because it was like super hot and humid and they did a lot of takes, and so the victims all looked really gritty and gross, like because they're all sweaty and dirty, and it was partially real because of the conditions they were in. So yeah, that was an interesting translation to the actual movie. Yeah, Leatherface is creepy. Jigsaw scared the shit out of me in COD a lot recently. Same thing was Paleface as well. Ooh, we have oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, did you guys ever get scared about like the monster movies like Cloverfield? Kind of like the giant monsters, like the kaiju style monsters.
Oh, I always thought those were more cool than anything. Like I always thought Godzilla was sick. Like just watching him destroy buildings. That I was never scared at all by that. But yeah, Cloverfield. I haven't watched the movie yet. Yeah, so no spoilers because it's a new movie. But
wait, a new movie for you?
Well, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. It's like a 2000 something movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That big stuff never scared me because it feels so far removed and fantastical versus like a guy that's like a human being that's around like a reasonable size that's coming around trying to kill you. That's a little different to me.
Yeah, I think the only... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I think for me, probably not the monsters itself. It's like the shocking things that happened. So I remember there was this movie I was talking about yesterday. It was called Ghost Ship, where I didn't watch the whole movie, but in the intro, like there's like these people dancing on the deck of the ship, and then like there's like this thin wire that accidentally like gets loosened from a spool, and then like it slices through every like one on the floor or on the deck, and then there's this little girl. Since she's so short, it doesn't cut her. So she's like witnessing everyone's body like slide, like their upper halves like slide down, or like their heads like or their necks like sliding down. I remember when I saw that as a kid, I was like the most shocking thing ever. That like
wait, what's the name of this movie? Is it called Ghost Ship?
Yeah, it's called Ghost Ship.
Oh, 2002 supernatural horror film.
That sounds like not really. That sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode. Ghost Ship.
For real.
But that sounds really brutal.
Carl Urban is in that movie.
Ah, yes, Carl Urban. We all know him.
Wait, you don't know Carl Urban? He was in Lord of the Rings. He was in what?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Carl Urban. There's no... Wait, are you guys being serious? Are you guys trolling me right now? I think you're thinking about... You're thinking about Keith Urban. Carl Urban, he was in, what do you call it? Lord of the Rings. He was in Judge Dredd. He was in The Boys recently.
I have not seen any of those movies or shows.
Oh, what else? He was in Star Trek, like the new one.
All right, yeah, I keep making stuff up.
He was in Riddick.
He looks
Ragnarok,
familiar, but I haven't recognized him.
You know, wait, he was in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker as additional voices.
Additional voices.
I thought he was. Remember that guy on the casino planet? I don't remember.
The what?
No, that's
Yeah, that's totally someone else. But
no, that was
just
what's his face?
It looked like him.
He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, Edward, the guy that you're talking about.
Oh wait, who?
The guy in the casino planet.
Oh, he was. Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else in movies scares me. There's pretty like gore stuff isn't really scary, it just grosses me out. So I'm not really fazed by gore. But I think the like a mix of gore plus a disturbing atmosphere can be really, really scary. So spoilers for a movie called Hereditary, which I think is really freaky if you guys want to get scared. But there's a scene where there's basically a woman like floating in the air and she's like cutting her own throat with piano wire.
What the hell?
Like she's like sawing her own head off with piano wire.
Self mutilation.
Yeah, so she's like floating in the air and everyone looks up. It's like in an attic and it's just super dark and you see her wearing a white dress and it just goes it starts out like really slow and then it goes like and
wait,
it just has
is that the movie where people kill themselves or is that something else?
Wait, Hereditary?
Yeah.
They don't kill themselves. But no, I think it's a different movie. But people do die in the movie.
I think now that you said that, or now that you're talking about that, it reminded me of this. I guess one of the most memorable horror scenes that I've seen. I wasn't watching the movie. I just like walked by when I guess one of my cousins was watching. I forgot the name of the movie, but someone was walking. So you know how you have those automatic sliding doors at supermarkets?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason there was a set of those. I think it was in a hotel building or something. Oh, I think the name of the movie is 13 Ghosts. And someone walked.
Oh yeah,
someone walked like right in between the two sliding doors, and they shut on him, and they sliced his body like sideways, and like imagine peeling like an apple skin off. That was like a whole layer of his body just like fell forward, and I was like, that shit was creepy.
I'm actually looking. Oh, I see a video or a thumbnail of that or an image. That's gross. First of all. I remember, so this was a movie that I was like hanging out at one of my relatives' house, and for some reason it was just one of the movies that was on. Like it didn't feel like it should have been on, but I flipped to it and it was during a really disturbing part, but for some reason I couldn't look away. And then so I was just watching it alone and then I got super freaked out and slightly traumatized because I was really young. But now that I'm looking at it, I looked at pictures, it just looks like pretty bad makeup and like it looks very old and dated, 2001. So I don't even know why I was scared.
That's kind of, so I'm gonna segue into a different topic real quick, because when you say that how you looking back, it looks like a bunch of like bad makeup and stuff. Yeah. So I saw someone playing Guns the Duel the other day. Mm-hmm. And then I was just thinking, yo, this game looked so much better when I was playing it like all those years ago. Now I look at it, you know that effect you get when you look back on a video game, and at the time it was like, oh, the graphics are great, it's like the best thing in the world. But you look back now, and you're just like, what a shitty looking game.
I remember like that was how it was in the early PlayStation days. As well, not the game itself, but most of those games they were trying to hype up like the technological advancements that they had at the time by creating like TGI openings. And then like I remember as a kid, like you think, oh wow, I wonder if we're gonna get those kind of graphics in video games. Yeah. But if you look at them now, they look so whack and like messed up.
Did you just say TGI?
CGI, yeah.
Oh no, I thought I heard you say TGI.
No.
But yeah, I think the first game that happened to me was Call of Duty. So when Call of Duty first, like my cousin got the Xbox 360 when it first came out in 2005, and I forgot what Call of Duty was on that when it first released. It might have been World at War or Modern Warfare 1. But when I was playing it, I was like, yo, the graphics are so lifelike. This is so realistic. My cousin's so lucky. And now when I saw like gameplay like going of that game now, I'm just like, yo, this game looks super shitty.
Yeah. Our standards will get higher. But I think it'll reach a point where it's just so real, like it'll be realistic, like actually real, like realistic, and then maybe that effect will go away because you can't, or you can go further than realistic, but like what does that even look like?
Was that like VR? Like, but like really good graphics though?
Like mixed reality.
No, I'm just thinking purely graphics. Like, let's say you get it to realistic. How would you make it look better? I guess it would just be the style, because if you have, let's say, infinite computer resources to make anything look like
real life,
it would just look like real life, right?
Yeah, it'll just be like the James Cameron Avatar. Like, it'll just look super realistic,
but better somehow.
Yeah, I feel like graphics have advanced to the point where even animated films, like we've surpassed animated films. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 was one of those games that set that example, because there was a Toy Story world in that game, and I remember someone did a comparison for Toy Story, the Toy Story world in the game compared to the first Toy Story film.
Yeah,
and we've already surpassed the graphics from then.
But from in game, or
from in game, yeah. So, it's gonna be crazy for this next generation to see what kind of stuff that they'll make, since the graphics power has been increased, and SSDs and all that. So
yeah, it's crazy how far we came in basically a really short amount of time, and the progress of technology will just continue to accelerate, and then we'll just live in VR forever. Basically, Sword Art Online.
Dude, imagine a VR MMORPG. I'm never leaving my room.
Dangerous.
I'm never leaving my room. Dude,
okay, this is.
I was gonna say if. Okay.
All right, hold on.
No, wait. But then. Okay.
Okay, but so the way I was thinking about, like, it'll just keep progressing to the point where, so already we spend some of our time, or a good amount of our time, on digital worlds playing video games, right? Or let's say watching anime, but you always have to return to the human world, because that's where you're taking in the game or the anime that you're consuming. But eventually, let's say once we get like feedback, like force feedback within virtual reality, like you can actually get hurt or something, or you can, like, it's so realistic to the point where reality is indistinguishable from virtual reality, then it'll be like, it might actually be feasible to spend a lot of your life in virtual reality when it's almost the same as if you're in real life anyways. So I think that's a little scary, because I wonder what happens to a human brain when it thinks that it's in the real world, but it's not in the real world. It's like in a game.
I feel like
interesting.
Well, I feel like that'll be only like applicable to like games that try to emulate real life. But
oh yeah.
But I feel like most developers there's a lot of developers that make games. They usually encompass like an artistic style, so it's not always going to be realistic. I feel like that will prevent some of that. If it's like if you're like a cartoon world, like it's like, oh, I'm in a cartoon world,
Right.
I feel like in in Inception they kind of explore that. Well, not with VR specifically, but how people can enter their dreams and like be conscious of the fact that they're dreaming, so they're able to like control things. You guys have seen Inception, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember the one scene where there's like this black market sleeping facility where people are just like asleep all the time, and they're like all these cables running everywhere with like the IVs into them, so that they're like just stuck inside the dream world. So I don't know, when you're talking about like not being able to distinguish real life from like VR, that's kind of what that reminded me of like these people who just want to spend all their time in this world where they can do whatever they want and just like live in the Matrix, I guess.
Yeah, that's similar to the argument of why we might be in a simulation right now. Because like if things progress to a point where we can't really tell the difference between what's real and what's fake, who's to say that we aren't, like, I mean, it's like the Matrix where you're just a body floating in a vat and you're plugged into a computer basically. Yeah, makes me not want to do anything.
Probably not in our lifetimes, you know.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me. I think one of our next topics was MMOs. So I guess this is a good segue into that.
Yeah. I can run through my really quick history of MMOs, and I think there's a lot of overlap between what I played and what you guys played. But the very first MMO I played was probably Neopets. It's an MMO. It's not an MMORPG, but it's an MMO for sure. Like you can interact with other people and you can trade items and buy stuff from people's shops. And that's where I started. And eventually I went to RuneScape where it's more real, like you're running around chopping wood, fishing for fish and like killing people. Then RuneScape transitioned to MapleStory, which was like, I played a ton of RuneScape and then I played a ton of MapleStory. Got addicted to MapleStory after getting addicted to RuneScape. And then in between, then I also tried a bunch of different ones because MapleStory was addicting, but it wasn't really like super fun. So I would always try to find a new game to play, but I would always go back to MapleStory. But I tried like Ragnarok. I tried Guns of the Duel. It's more like a multiplayer game, but at the similar time. There was one called like Mabinogi.
I played that one.
Yeah. So that was like a Nexon game also too, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I played that, and then eventually I just stopped. I think it ended with MapleStory, but I tried a ton. Yeah, like Ragnarok. I spent a lot of time on Ragnarok, RuneScape, and MapleStory. Those were the most where I spent most of my time. And nowadays it's hard to find time to fit it in because I feel like in MMO you really want to sit there and like get immersed because there's always a lot of things to do too. It's not just like fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, you can research builds, you can research equipment and items, you could be a merchant, whatever. So it's hard for me to find time to play or pick up an MMO nowadays.
Yeah, I think I followed pretty much the same. Well, close. I got addicted to RuneScape. I got scammed. My account got hacked. I quit RuneScape. Then I went on to MapleStory. I got scammed. My account also got hacked. And then I moved on, but then I came back and I was playing MapleStory for the longest time. But then I think between MapleStory and my next MMO, there's like this huge gap because my computer wasn't good enough to run any of the other games.
Yeah.
So this past year, at the beginning of quarantine, I was just like, you know what? I think this is like the perfect time for me to start a new MMO because I'm going to have tons of free time now that I'm not commuting or like going into the office. So I can just, have time to play video games for hours and hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing Elder Scrolls Online, which was kind of, I guess, perfect for me because, I enjoyed the Elder Scrolls series and I enjoyed Skyrim. So I was looking for something similar. And it's not similar. Well, if you're going in thinking it's just like multiplayer Skyrim, it's not that. It's an MMO first, but with Elder Scrolls elements. And I don't know, there's just like a lot of flexibility in the game and a lot of things that they do that make the game more immersive that really, had me sticking around for a while. I put like 350 hours into that game in like 2 months.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I think I mentioned yesterday, one of the things they do well is the voice acting. Like every single character is voice acted in the game. So that like really builds the immersion. Like if you check out some of the other MMOs, I think some MMOs are starting to do that now where they're starting to voice more of the lines. But I think in the past 10 years, if you look at a lot of the MMOs, they're not voiced. They're just like, they have text that you can read. So having characters speak to you, that's like a big part of immersing the players. But yeah, it's Elder Scrolls themed. I couldn't ask for more than that. It's been pretty fun.
So for me, I also started with RuneScape. I also got scammed. So
everyone got scammed. God.
And then I moved on to MapleStory, and I remember that was like such a big deal back then. But I wasn't fully into it. I was really into also Ragnarok Online, and because I remember like the music being really good in that game, and like it's just fun playing like the different like the jobs and stuff too.
Yeah.
And the graphics back at the time was like really good.
I really like the graphical style where it's like 2.5D, like the environment's 3D and the pixel art is really cool for the characters specifically. Yeah. I remember part of that too was like just I don't know if you played it like this, but a lot of it was just sitting around and hanging out, like chatting, right? In like the town squares.
There was like chat bubbles and all that.
Yeah. It was a very social game.
Yeah, I think from then I was kind of like figuring out what I was just playing different games, like different MMOs. I was playing this one. Well, it's kind of like, it's not really an MMO, but it's called S4 League. It's kind of like Guns of Duel, but like a futuristic kind of setting.
S4 League.
And then I think the next game I got really into was Star Wars: The Old Republic. So in that one, that was like, well, I was like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I heard that there's like 4 different jobs that you can make for each side of the like light side, dark side, and like it was like fully voiced, and like I just really wanted to make a Sith character because I enjoy like the dark side more, and so that was pretty fun. I remember I played through I think that was like the only MMOs that I played through the whole main story because they're so interesting, and like you can make your own choices and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys look for? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And then I think the only game that I've paid monthly for was Final Fantasy 14, because I remember hearing about that game in 2010, and like it was all hype, and then it was really bad when it first launched, and then like they rebooted it, and like the way it's just like the way you actually play the game, it feels like you're playing a single player game, but with other people. And they try to make it really easy to play through the game, because I feel like a lot of MMOs have a problem, especially like the free ones. You're kind of like, okay, what do I do? Like, what I do? I'm just running around doing quests or whatever, right? But this one, they try to make it really like the system really like simple. Like there's dungeons that you can do, and there's this thing called fates where there's open events where people can just fight monsters and all that. And you know,
there's a storyline too, right?
Yeah, there's like a storyline that pretty much if you're like a Final Fantasy fan, like it like if you play at least one game, like they all like you'll be hooked because it pretty much takes all the aspects of Final Fantasy games. And
it's pretty good.
Oh shoot, there was my favorite part of that game is called Alliance Raids. So there's dungeons that it's like a 4-man team raid, and then there's bosses which are 8 teams or people of 8. I mean, no, dungeons are a team of 4, and then bosses are a team of 8, and then Alliance Raids there's 3 teams of 8, so there's like 24 people and like doing like a raid, and it's like they put all their budget, like they put like super like crazy like bombastic music and like huge bosses, like you're fighting like antagonists from like Final Fantasy 6 and stuff, and it's like like you see like all these effects like going together, and you see your character like, because you got to zoom out to see, like it's really small.
You see like 24 people fighting one giant thing at once.
But they make it challenging, and it's pretty fun. And
when you mentioned or like when you said there was a story, I always thought it was so ironic how MapleStory barely had any story at all. Like it's in the name, but you just get these quests where you have to get like 300 tree branches, and then you turn
300 slimes, slime jelly.
Yeah, it did make it feel like there was no direction. Like it sounds like in FF14 you can, like the story is kind of pushing you to keep doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
But in MapleStory, all that's pushing you is like you just need to level up more, and you just go to the next training spot basically.
Yeah.
I feel like the free MMOs, they kind of like the story aspect, they kind of just brush off, but you know the monthly ones or like the ones that are coming in from like Bethesda and Square Enix, they really like put emphasis into the story because you're putting money into the game, so it's like
did RuneScape have a story? Now that I think about it, I don't think I remember a story to that. I mean, I was also like 10 when I was playing it, so I might not have paid attention.
You woke up in a room and you had to do tutorial island.
Yeah, I think with MMOs, it's like like you said, it's either story driven or you're driven by the things that you can acquire and equip, like the economy.
Yeah.
So I think that was like Maple Story right there. People were always trying to get like the next best item to like max out their character.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really story driven.
That's how I played it. Actually, when I got bored of leveling up, I was like level 40 something bandit, and I was like, oh my god, training is so slow now. So all I would do is I would log into like there's a Maple Story website called Basil Market, and it has the prices for like people do auctions, and so you get the general idea of the prices for like big ticket items like attack work gloves or scrolls. And so I would research the prices and then go shopping and buy them at what I thought was a reasonable price, and then just resell it for profit. And I just kept doing that. Like I would just set up my store. Like I would go through the entire free market, look at every store.
Yeah, I'm a hustler.
And then I'm like, okay, that one's cheap by like 200K. So I'll just buy that. And then if it's cheap enough, I would resell it for the average price, which is which is more than I bought it for, and then just keep making money. Eventually I just kept making money and then not actually playing the game, because every time I would try to go to training, I'd be like, oh, so boring. And I would just go back and just research items and then buy some more.
It's funny how like now if you look at the how they added like a ton of jobs, like the recent, like I think after adventures, like the adventure job class, like every subsequent job, they actually have like a storyline to them now. Because before,
right?
Yeah, I think that was probably why people were bored with just playing adventure. So I think that's pretty cool that they added like a storyline for like the jobs now and all that stuff. But
they had like the Cygnus Knights.
Yeah,
they had like mechanics or pirates and mechanics.
But like these new ones, it's like cinematics and stuff too. Like there's animated like cutscenes and stuff. Like damn.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish I could get back into it. I'd be down to try it, but it sounds like it's kind of dying right now. Which
Maple Story or
Maple Story.
Yeah,
because they just merged all those worlds, right? Which makes me think that it's not doing well.
I mean, like a Maple Story 2 came out though, right? And
but
that one got failed pretty quick.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, because I feel like it was too different. It was like 3D and like it kind of looked like Minecraft because it was like blocky and all that.
Yeah,
but I think if they were just like to expand on, well, not expand, but more like emulate the gameplay of the first one, but make it like 2.5D and like screen bigger or something, I feel like that would be really successful. But
I think what would have been really fun, and they kind of added this towards the end of the time that I played it, but add more non-combat activities, because it's either grinding or merchanting. Those were like the two activities. And if there was things like harvesting materials, which I think they added later, like you could harvest materials or go fishing or something that's casual and more social than just having to have the best equipment to go fight, that would have made it more fun for me. And like, or another big thing is incentive to actually travel the world, because basically the only reason you would travel somewhere is if there's the optimal training spot in that area. Otherwise, there was no reason for you to go back to areas you've been in or to explore new areas unless there was a good training spot there. So I think it would have been good to incentivize players to do that more. And there's small things like certain special shops that they did, but not much.
Yeah, earlier on, I felt like it was crippling to explore, because I feel like you go to Hennessy and you can only explore the left and right map. But if you go any more than that, then the monsters are too high level. And so you're just stuck. You're just stuck in the world, the town and the two maps, the left and right. Because if you you try to go anywhere more than that, you just die. You die instantly, right? But it felt like it was punishing you for exploring, which is not really a good thing.
Yeah. or there would be just no reason to, because let's say, like, I don't know if you remember Pig Beach, like there's a bunch of pigs everywhere. That's like the best place to go to train, and anywhere else is just slower. And because leveling up was so difficult already, you didn't want to train at the non-optimal training spots, so you didn't want to. There's no reason to explore.
I remember there was this area. I forgot the name of the city, but it was like, it's in the forest, and there are a lot of the green mushroom and the blue mushroom caps. And if you go a little further in, there was like the undead mushrooms. I remember that was the most dangerous spot for me when I was low level. But then when it came like higher level, I was like, yo, I just want to be there all the time, just because it was easy to farm.
Yeah, that was the optimal, like, suggested level 20 to 30 training spot, is the horned mushrooms and undead mushrooms.
It was also a good place to bot.
Dude, I'm gonna report you right now. Shut down your stream.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of newer MMOs, they try to deviate from just that farming kind of playstyle.
Yeah,
because it gets really boring quick. So now, most of the modern MMOs it's like you're doing quests, missions, dungeons, like actually having like an objective.
Yeah, I like those. I think that it was just the downside of playing a free game. They're not going to add like all this cool stuff.
They want you to pay money.
Aside from paid content, like the cash shop.
They just want you to.
Actually,
they just want you to drop dollars.
Elder Scrolls Online was the first game I've ever participated in, like the economy of an MMO, and it's super satisfying to like make money in MMO. Like not just like 100 gold coins here or there, but actually like come upon an item that's super high value and you sell it, and you're like, damn, I actually got that much. Like in MapleStory, I was always the poor boy. Like always just like under 100K. Like I can't even buy Steelies, can't even buy any throwing stars.
Steelies were like 1.5 mil, like at some point.
Yeah, I think when I started, like near the end of my time playing, they were like 250. So I think they dropped down in price. But I think also because they released another throwing star, like they added like a new. I think they raised the level cap, didn't they?
Yeah, it's 250 now.
Yeah,
last time I checked.
So they introduced like the next tier of throwing stars, and that dropped the price for the other ones. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, MMO economies are so interesting. I think the MapleStory economy is like kind of effed right now because
isn't the marketplace gone? Like, there's no more marketplace anymore.
Oh, I'm not sure.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
Oh, what's going on back there? No, just
back where?
Yeah, I heard the economy is messed up because it's too easy to get a lot of money. So all the prices are really high for everything. It's interesting.
So what do you guys look for in an MMO? Like what caters to you?
Because I think it just have to be fun to play with friends. Like I even played a lot of MapleStory, even though the gameplay was pretty repetitive. No matter what level you were, you pick like your one or two skill, like you put your buff skills on and then your attack skills, and that's all you would use forever, basically, until you level up, which took forever anyways. And I honestly, most fond memories of that were just running around with friends. Like, oh, let's all go to the ship together and we'll take the ship, and then just chatting in the game about like not even about the game, just about like real life stuff. And it was cool because those conversations, if you chose to have them were public, and you could see like the little speech bubble of you talking with friends, and other people could join your conversation. I thought that was all really cool. And I think as long as it's fun enough, and the gameplay should be fun enough, but if it's fun to play with friends, then I think, if you're doing anything with friends and it's fun, then it doesn't really matter what you're doing. And I think the same thing for me with MMOs. Because, MapleStory gameplay was super boring, super basic. Like, when I look at them, like, what the heck? It almost required no skill. You just mash the same button or, like, same 5 buttons, and you don't really need to think about it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's like the actual experience of playing the game. So like the skills, if they're like really fun to use, or if they figure out how to integrate the skills together instead of just picking a random skill or just attacking, that makes it really fun. And it makes it addicting when you level up, you get more skills, and then you can just see what that does and how it incorporates the previous skill and how that previous skill incorporates the previous skill. And flashy animations is pretty cool because man, RuneScape was kind of boring. It was just like dude. And then like even MapleStory early on, it was just like you're just slashing. And then eventually get like a skill, but then like it get boring after a couple hours. And then well, now, if you can see like MapleStory now, it's like you can clear the whole screen. Like it's like the whole like your whole monitor. Like you can do an attack and it's
the
just
super
like,
move and everything just dies.
Yeah, that's like your normal chef skill. It's just like damn.
So I think for me,
they lost their direction with MapleStory because before those things were really special, like those mob clearing, screen shaking skills. But now I think everyone has it.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm looking for is so I've seen a lot of these animes, you know, where the male character gets dropped to a different world and they get to live their perfect video game MMO anime life. And I've been trying to recreate that experience through you know, like Elder Scrolls Online. I've been trying to do that where I pretend my character is dropped in and I like try to, you know, find a way to like finesse the economy and like you know, level up and become, you know, not just like the warrior class where you just go in and just like complete every quest by killing stuff, but actually like, you know, join a guild, talk to other people, like create connections and you know, become a trader in some way and like start harvesting materials, you know, becoming a weaponsmith. So just kind of, I'm looking for an MMO that lets you do whatever you want or like lets you do a lot of things. Like for one, it has to have like a good crafting system. It has to have a good economy. It has to have a good job system, and it has to have a good like guild or social system. And of course, it has to have an interesting, like visually appealing world. I think there are a couple animes. I was about to say animes. There are a couple MMORPGs that are in the works that are coming out that are kind of like a good mix of those. So I'm pretty excited for what the MMO genre has to offer in the future. Yeah,
I think if I were to imagine my perfect MMO, it would be a GTA style gameplay set in a zombie world, and you're an MMO. And part of it is like gathering resources and building a base, and the other part is like, you know, fighting zombies. But I think we're still a little ways away from that.
All right. Well, it looks like we're at the end of our hour. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Hope you guys enjoyed our little conversation that we had, and rest assured, it won't be the last one. We're gonna have quite a few of these come out, I guess, in the near future. Because I think, as we said in the beginning, you know, we just talk naturally. Like these conversations just kind of flow, and it'd be cool to be able to share our experiences and our thoughts with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Ghvstfreak. I got PlasmaNomad right there, along with Malidous, and we're gonna sign out. Have a good night.
Peace.
All right. Peace, guys.